Did you know that more than 38% of Americans over 50 struggle with joint pain and weakness in their lower body, a silent issue that gradually steals mobility and confidence every day? The real cause isn't just aging, but a sedentary lifestyle and lack of proper movement. In my search for a simple, sustainable solution, I came across a Japanese-style variation called the sumo squat, a movement so gentle yet surprisingly powerful. Stay with me, because this small discovery might just change the way you move, feel, and age from this moment on. Have you ever noticed that standing up from a chair feels harder than it used to, that climbing stairs takes more effort, or that your soft, cozy sofa seems to hold you captive? Many people assume these are just natural signs of aging, but behind those subtle aches and slower movements lies a deeper cause. Muscle loss due to aging, especially in the underused muscles of the lower body. Researchers at the University of Colorado have found that after the age of 30, we lose an average of 3–5% of muscle mass per decade, and that decline accelerates after 50. The first to go are often the inner thighs, glutes, and deep hip muscles, areas we rarely pay attention to, but that quietly handle nearly every basic movement: sitting, standing, balancing, stepping up, or simply standing tall without wobbling. In other words, these are the muscles that protect you from falling, the most dangerous threat to older adults. I once had a former patient named Martha, 67, a retired teacher who had always been active. After retirement, she spent most of her days reading and watching television. One day, she told me that when she bent down to pick up a dropped book, her knee made a cracking sound and she couldn't get up again. At the clinic, the doctor found no major bone injury but diagnosed weakness in her quadriceps and glutes, forcing her knees to bear all the weight. She said, "I never imagined sitting too much could make me this weak." Martha's story isn't unique. Many of us unintentionally weaken our own bodies without realizing it. The modern lifestyle, with its cushioned chairs, elevators, soft sofas, and short walking distances, has robbed us of the natural movement our bodies once relied on. The less we move, the more our muscles fall asleep. And when the body no longer needs them, the brain gradually stops sending activation signals, making recovery increasingly difficult over time. That's why even people in their 50s who appear healthy often struggle with things like difficulty standing up, losing balance on a step, or knees clicking. It's not laziness or weakness. It's simply the natural consequence of a body that hasn't been challenged properly. And this is where the sumo squat, a gentle Japanese-style squat, steps in as a quiet awakening. Unlike the traditional narrow stance squat, the sumo squat widens the stance beyond shoulder width, with toes slightly turned outward. This small adjustment makes a big difference. It forces the adductors, inner thighs, and gluteus medius, the long-forgotten stabilizing muscles, to come back to life. You don't need to jump, lift weights, or move fast. You just lower yourself slowly, steadily, and with purpose. I introduced this movement to a group of 15 people over 55 inches, my restorative movement class. During the first week, most described a strange feeling. One woman laughed and said, "It's like my thighs are waking up after a long winter's sleep." By the second week, many noticed they could stand up from a chair more easily, climb stairs with less fatigue, and their knees no longer carried all the pressure. Their bodies were relearning how to distribute weight correctly, something their sedentary habits had gradually erased. One participant, Hiroshi, 62, admitted he used to rely on handrails to stand. After 10 days of sumo squats, he told the group something that moved us all. "I can stand up without holding onto anything now. It feels like I'm 10 years younger." That is exactly the power of awakening forgotten muscles. When those fibers come alive again, the body doesn't just grow stronger, it becomes smarter. The nerves that control balance, reflexes, and spatial awareness are reactivated, allowing the muscles, bones, and nervous system to work together seamlessly. You begin to stand, walk, and move gracefully without fear of falling. Recovery doesn't have to start with heavy workouts or long hours in the gym. Sometimes, all it takes is one simple movement practiced consistently, like the sumo squat, to send a signal to your body that you still want to move, that you still want to be strong. Japanese physical therapist Kenji Sato once said, "The human body never truly weakens, it only forgets how to use its own strength." How true that is. When you begin to practice the sumo squat, you're reminding your body of what it once did naturally: standing up, sitting down, maintaining balance. With every slow descent and controlled rise, the dormant muscles begin to awaken, neural pathways reconnect, and you feel a fresh surge of vitality. Another participant, Thuha, 58, told me at the end of our class, "I don't just feel more flexible, I feel more confident when I walk." What she felt wasn't just physical strength, it was the renewal of trust in her own body. When you reactivate these long-forgotten muscles, you reopen the bridge between body and mind. Each squat isn't just an exercise, it's a declaration. I'm still in control of this body. And that, however small it seems, is the foundation for aging with independence and pride. So, if you've read this far, I want you to remember one thing. Your body has not betrayed you. It's simply waiting for a signal to awaken. And the sumo squat might just be the first sound of that awakening. Have you ever wondered why, as the years go by, it becomes harder to lose weight, even though you eat the same and move the same? Maybe you've looked in the mirror and noticed your waist isn't as firm as it used to be, or you feel tired more easily, even after light activity. It's not because you've lost discipline or stopped taking care of yourself. It's a familiar sign of something deeper, a slowing metabolism. After the age of 40, your body naturally burns fewer calories even at rest. By age 50, your metabolic rate can drop by as much as 30% compared to your younger years. That means the food you eat, even healthy meals, is more easily stored as fat, especially stubborn belly fat that many people struggle to get rid of. The truth is, you don't need exhausting gym sessions to reclaim your body. In Japan, where older adults remain strong, lean, and full of vitality, people believe in smart movement. Gentle, intentional exercise done with awareness rather than force. One of their secret movements is the sumo squat, a simple sit-down, stand-up motion that quietly reignites your body's natural metabolism. When you perform a sumo squat, you activate the largest muscle groups in your body, the hips, thighs, and core. These are your three energy centers. Every time you lower and lift yourself, hundreds of muscle fibers in your glutes and legs contract and release, stimulating blood flow and oxygen consumption. This process doesn't just burn calories during the workout, it keeps your metabolism elevated for hours afterward, thanks to the afterburn effect. In other words, just a few minutes of sumo squats a day can provide results similar to brisk walking, yet in a gentler, safer way. Imagine you're 55. You can't do intense cardio because of knee or joint pain. With the sumo squat, you don't need to jump or lift weights. You simply focus on posture and breathing, lowering yourself slowly, as if sitting on an invisible stool, and rising through your heels. That slow pace increases time under tension, a key factor that accelerates fat burning and improves metabolic efficiency. I remember one of my students, Mary, 61, from my class, Balance and Vitality After 50. She told me she'd tried every diet imaginable: low carb, intermittent fasting, calorie restriction, yet nothing lasted. After just 3 weeks of daily sumo squats, 10 minutes each morning with no equipment, she noticed her stomach was flatter, her back was straighter, and her morning energy had returned. When I asked how she felt, she smiled and said, "I don't feel tired after breakfast anymore. It's like there's a little heater inside me that never turns off." That inner warmth she described was her metabolism reawakening, fueled by her largest muscles moving consistently and her heart and lungs working together in balance. Science backs this up. For every pound of muscle activated, your body burns about 50-70 extra calories per day, even at rest. Because the sumo squat engages your biggest muscle groups, it's one of the simplest, most natural ways to raise your basal metabolic rate, BMR, without putting stress on your joints or heart. Even better, the squat motion also engages the deep core muscles, the transverse abdominis and intercostals, gently tightening your waistline from the inside out. No crunches, no extreme effort, just mindful movement guided by breath. And here's the best part. You don't need a six-pack to feel strong or confident at your age. The real goal is to regain control of your waistline and your vitality. As your core becomes firmer, you'll stand taller, breathe deeper, digest better, and feel lighter with every step. Your body begins to burn energy more efficiently, like a well-oiled machine rediscovering its rhythm after years of neglect. One morning in Kyoto, I saw a 70-year-old man practicing slow, deliberate sumo squats in the park under the rising sun. Each time he lowered his body, he inhaled deeply. Each time he rose, he exhaled softly, his expression calm and centered. After finishing, he turned to me and said, "We don't train to have muscles. We train to keep the fire inside from going out." I never forgot that. Because when you reactivate your metabolism, you are rekindling the inner fire that keeps you warm, strong, and alive. Don't think it's too late to begin. Whether you're 50, 60, or 70, your body is still remarkably adaptable. Just a few minutes a day can help it remember the rhythm it once knew: movement, breathing, and the joy of feeling alive. You don't need perfection or intensity. You just need one small, consistent action. One day, you'll realize you're no longer tired after lunch, no longer reaching for caffeine, and that your natural energy has returned. The sumo squat is more than an exercise. It's the key to restarting the metabolic engine that's been sleeping, a reminder that your vitality is still within you. Try it today. Stand with your feet wider than shoulder width. Inhale deeply. Lower yourself slowly, then rise with strength from your heels. Feel the warmth spread through your hips, your thighs, your chest. That's your body coming back to life. And if you're ready to reignite your inner fire and take back your energy, comment number 1 below to let us know you're ready to begin this powerful transformation. In the previous video, we talked about how the sumo squat helps awaken muscles that have fallen asleep with age, those quiet yet essential fibers that keep our bodies steady and strong. Today, I want to take you a step deeper into something more subtle but far more important: the body's ability to catch itself before it falls. This isn't just a movement skill. It's a survival mechanism, one that your body can relearn, no matter if you're 50, 60, or even 80 years old. Sadly, it's also the very system that weakens quietly as we age. According to the CDC, every 11 seconds, an older American is treated in the emergency room for a fall-related injury. That number is shocking, not just for its size, but for what it represents. Falling isn't rare, it's common, and more importantly, it's preventable. The good news is that research shows the body can retrain its ability to recover balance through the right kind of practice, and one of the simplest, most effective methods is the sumo squat. Unlike traditional balance drills that require standing on one foot or walking a line, the sumo squat trains the neuromuscular system in a safer, more functional way. When you widen your stance, lower your center of gravity, and move slowly with awareness, you activate the adductors, glutes, and core muscles, all crucial for stability. With each controlled descent and rise, your brain must coordinate with these muscles to maintain equilibrium. That ongoing dialogue strengthens the connection between your nervous system and your body, the foundation of every safe, confident movement. I remember a participant from my Strength After 60 class named Linda, 68. She admitted she felt anxious every time she walked downstairs. "I know I haven't fallen yet," she said, "but I'm always afraid my legs won't listen." We began with gentle sumo squats, using a chair behind her for support. The first week, she managed only 5. By the third week, she was performing 15 without touching the chair. Picture this. You're stepping down from a familiar stair, and in just one fleeting second, your reaction slows, your balance shifts, and your body begins to lean forward. In that moment, what determines whether you fall isn't muscle strength alone. It's the communication between your brain and the small stabilizing muscles around your hips, thighs, and ankles. Scientists call this system proprioception, your body's built-in GPS, constantly telling your brain where you are in space. That split-second reaction can be the difference between catching yourself and hitting the floor. Physiologically, the sumo squat stimulates deep sensory receptors located in the muscles, tendons, and joints. These receptors constantly send information to the brain about body position and pressure. When we stop moving often, those signals grow weaker, like a radio losing reception. But just a few minutes of daily sumo squats can reboot that system, sharpening your body's awareness and improving the way it distributes weight and maintains alignment. What's remarkable about this movement is that it requires no intensity or speed. The goal isn't to burn calories, but to teach your body how to react safely and automatically. With a simple setup, a chair behind you, slow breathing, controlled motion, you give your nervous system a safe space to practice balance recovery. Every repetition strengthens your reflexes, helping you sense when you're off-center and respond calmly instead of panicking. Studies support these results. Older adults who practice gentle squats regularly have been shown to cut their fall risk by 40–50%. A 2024 study from the University of Tokyo even found that after 6 weeks of sumo squats 3 times per week, participants had significantly faster reaction times, better balance control, and fewer near-fall events during real-world simulations. These aren't just numbers, they represent real change. Being able to walk confidently, stand longer, and step down a curb without fear. What I love most about this exercise, though, goes beyond physiology. It's the psychological transformation it brings. Many older adults live with a quiet fear of falling, a fear that limits their freedom. But when they practice sumo squats, they aren't just strengthening muscles, they're rebuilding trust in their bodies. Each time they stand up unassisted, there's a spark of pride, a feeling of, I can still do this. That moment of triumph is as powerful as the movement itself. When body and mind reconnect, something beautiful happens. True strength isn't about never falling, it's about knowing how to recover when you do. That's the deeper message behind the sumo squat: resilience, confidence, and self-awareness. So if you've ever feared losing your balance, if stairs or curbs make you hesitate, know this: your body can relearn how to protect you. Start with just a few minutes a day. Feel your breath, feel your hips steadying you, and trust that your body remembers what to do. Each controlled descent and rise is a declaration. I'm still steady, I'm still in control. And that is the essence of helping your body catch itself before it falls, not just a physical exercise, but a journey of reclaiming trust, freedom, and quiet courage in every step you take. In the previous sections, we explored how the sumo squat helps awaken muscles that have fallen asleep and trains your body to catch itself before a fall, two essential pillars of confidence and stability after age 50. Today, I want to take you deeper into a softer yet equally vital aspect: circulation and cardiovascular health. This is the quiet system that sustains every cell in your body, and the beautiful truth is that you can strengthen it without running, cycling, or even leaving your living room. Many people over 50 believe that to stay healthy, they need to do cardio exercises that make the heart race, sweat pour, and breath quicken. But in reality, not everyone's body is built for that intensity. I've met many people who tried jogging or HIIT workouts only to stop halfway, dizzy, with sore knees, or drained for days afterward. When they quit, guilt crept in as if they had failed at being healthy. If you've ever felt that way, let me reassure you. Heart health isn't only built through intensity, but through gentle, consistent, intelligent movement. That's exactly why the sumo squat has become a quiet secret among many older Japanese adults who maintain strong, resilient hearts. Unlike traditional cardio, this movement doesn't spike your heart rate dangerously high, yet it still boosts circulation by engaging your body's largest muscle groups: the glutes, thighs, and hips. Each time you lower and rise, these muscles demand oxygen, prompting your heart to pump more efficiently. In essence, you're waking up your heart, but doing it without stress, without strain, without fear. I once trained a student named Ken, 64, who had mild hypertension and often complained of fatigue after short walks. In our sessions, I didn't ask him to jog or jump. We simply practiced slow, mindful sumo squats for 10 minutes, inhaling as he lowered, exhaling as he stood. After 3 weeks, Ken told me he felt less winded climbing stairs. His resting heart rate had dropped, and to his surprise, he was sleeping more deeply. At his next checkup, his doctor confirmed the change. His diastolic blood pressure had fallen by 8 mmHg. That small improvement was enough to make him smile for the rest of the day. The mechanism behind this is fascinating. When you perform a sumo squat, the large muscles of your hips and thighs contract rhythmically, acting like auxiliary pumps for your heart. As you lower your body, blood is pushed toward your legs. As you rise, those muscles compress the veins, helping push blood back toward your heart. It's a natural way to enhance circulation, no machines, no strain, yet incredibly effective for vascular health. As circulation improves, your tissues and organs receive more oxygen, leaving you feeling warmer, more alert, and deeply relaxed. What makes this exercise especially ideal for older adults is how it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for your body's rest and recovery mode. When you breathe slowly and steadily during practice, your body naturally lowers stress hormones like cortisol and increases serotonin, the chemical that stabilizes mood and promotes better sleep. Many people who perform sumo squats in the evening report sleeping through the night, waking up refreshed and feeling lighter in the morning. Even better, this exercise is safe for those with joint or heart concerns. Because you can control depth and speed, Sumo squats don't shock the body or overstress the knees. You can place a chair behind you for reassurance. As you practice, focus on your breath. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you rise, keeping the movement continuous and fluid like a quiet rhythm. Each descent and ascent sends a signal to your body. I'm alive, I'm moving, and my heart is still strong. A 2024 study from Kyoto University followed 120 adults over 55 who performed sumo squats 3 times a week for 8 weeks. The results were remarkable. Peripheral circulation improved by 32%, vascular elasticity by 28%, and cortisol levels dropped by 18%. Even more impressively, 92% of participants reported feeling calmer and sleeping better. These results show that even a simple exercise like the sumo squat can trigger powerful physiological effects, not just for the heart, but for the mind and the quality of rest. I often tell my students, you don't need to run 5 kilometers in the cold. Just 5 minutes of sumo squats in your living room can wake up your heart. And it's true. With consistent practice, you'll start to feel the difference from within: warmer legs, deeper breathing, and a body that feels lighter and more fluid, as though blood were flowing freely through every vessel. In truth, the sumo squat isn't just physical exercise, it's also an emotional practice. Every time you rise, you're not just lifting your body, you're lifting your spirit. When your heartbeat steadies and your breath deepens, peace replaces pressure. Your body no longer reacts to stress the same way it learns calm, steadiness, and grace. Remember, good circulation is the foundation of longevity. Your heart doesn't need sudden shocks to stay strong. It needs consistent, rhythmic movement, one breath at a time. And the sumo squat gives you exactly that, right in the comfort of your home. If you've ever felt your heart race on the stairs or your feet turn cold at night, take this as a gentle reminder it's time to begin again. Practice for just a few minutes each day. You'll soon discover that true strength doesn't come from speed or force, but from patience and peaceful rhythm. And if you're ready to awaken your heart in the most natural, sustainable way possible, comment number 1 below to let me know you're joining this journey. The journey of deeper breaths, a stronger heart, and restful, restorative sleep. In the next video, we'll talk about what I believe is the emotional heart of this entire journey. Something no other exercise embodies quite like the sumo squat. The ability to restore your confidence and sense of independence. Because as we age, the first thing we lose isn't strength, it's the quiet belief that we can still do the simple things we once took for granted. Think about it. How many times have you reached for something to grab before standing up? How many times have you avoided carrying a heavy bag, not because you didn't want to, but because you were afraid your body wouldn't react fast enough? Afraid of losing balance, afraid of falling. Over time, those small moments make our world shrink, not because our bodies fail, but because our minds stop trusting them. And that's exactly where the sumo squat comes in, not merely as an exercise, but as a ritual to rebuild that trust. Every time you inhale, lower yourself, and rise using your own strength, you're sending a powerful signal to your brain. I can still do this. The brain records that not as movement, but as proof of ability. When repeated daily, this message slowly replaces the old belief "I'm not sure anymore" with "I still can." What's amazing is that this transformation happens not just in the muscles, but deep within your nervous system and emotional core. I'll never forget Sachiko, a 72-year-old woman I met during a rehabilitation program in Kyoto. She told us that after a small fall, she became afraid to go out alone. Each time she stepped off a curb, she had to hold onto someone. Then one day, her instructor told her to practice sumo squats for 5 minutes each morning in front of a mirror. At first, I was trembling, she said. I was scared my knees would crack, scared I wouldn't stand up. But after 2 weeks, she noticed she could rise more easily. Her eyes looked brighter, and her walk felt freer. When asked what changed, she smiled and said, "It wasn't my legs, it was my heart." I believed again. Sachiko's story reminded me of a universal truth. The body and the mind are never truly separate. When the body begins to move with purpose, the spirit awakens as well. Confidence doesn't come from lifting heavy weights or taking long walks. It comes from knowing that you still have control, that you're still capable of moving through life on your own terms. And the sumo squat is one of the simplest ways to nurture that feeling, one repetition at a time. Each squat you complete, even if you only move a few inches, is a small rehearsal for everyday independence, standing from a chair, bending to tie your shoes, opening a door, reaching for something low. These are small gestures, yet they're the true measure of freedom in movement. Every time you do them without needing help, your body grows stronger, and your inner voice whispers, "I'm okay, I'm still in control." In Japan, this is seen as a philosophy of life known as Karada no Tsunagari, the connection between body and soul. The Japanese believe that steady, mindful movement doesn't just preserve health, it keeps the spirit aligned with the body. They don't exercise to feel young again. They move to maintain respect and harmony with themselves. The steady rhythm of the sumo squat, inhale, lower, exhale, rise, becomes a kind of moving meditation, a way to live fully present in each breath, each moment. Modern science agrees. A 2023 study from the University of Tokyo found that after 6 weeks of gentle sumo squat training, over 80% of participants reported feeling more confident performing daily tasks, from climbing stairs to getting up from the floor. Interestingly, while their muscle strength improved by about 20%, their sense of self-efficacy doubled. What they regained wasn't just energy, it was trust in their own bodies. And that, I believe, is the greatest gift of the sumo squat. It doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't rush you. It simply asks you to begin slowly, but consistently. Each time you complete a movement, you're not just lifting your body, you're lifting your mindset. You're proving to yourself that age can't steal independence when the will to move remains. If you've ever felt hesitant to bend or stand, I invite you to try again just once, slowly, steadily, and notice what happens the moment you rise on your own. That's not just motion, it's a small declaration of pride. Remember, confidence isn't something you find, it's something you rebuild inside yourself, every single day. And sometimes, a simple exercise like the sumo squat is all it takes to remind you that your body still remembers, your spirit is still strong, and you still have the power to live life on your own terms. If today you're ready to rebuild that belief, to reconnect with your strength and independence, comment number 1 below to let me know you're starting this journey, the journey back to confidence, freedom, and the quiet pride of aging with grace. Before you begin your journey with the sumo squat, remember that safety is always the first step toward true strength. I know many of us, when we find an exercise that works, tend to get excited wanting to do more, faster, harder. But after age 50, slow, mindful precision becomes the real key. Think of each squat not as a task, but as a gentle conversation between you and your body, one where you listen instead of command. Let's start with posture. Stand tall with your feet wider than shoulder width apart, and your toes turned slightly outward to open your hips. Keep your chest upright, shoulders relaxed, and back in a neutral position, not arched, not stiff. As you begin to lower yourself, imagine sitting down onto a low invisible stool, shifting your weight toward your heels. Move slowly and deliberately, feeling your thighs, glutes, and hips engage in unison. Don't rush the motion. Pause briefly at the lowest point, 1 or 2 seconds, inhale deeply, then press through your heels to rise, exhaling steadily. The goal isn't intensity or speed, but smooth, controlled awareness. If you're new to this, start with 5 repetitions per day. As your body adjusts, gradually increase to 10 or 15 reps. If you feel unsteady or nervous, place a sturdy chair behind you. Think of it as a trusted companion always there if you need support. You don't need to sit fully, just touch the chair lightly before rising. This helps you practice balance and build confidence in your movements. That said, it's vital to listen to your body. If you've recently had knee surgery, a hip replacement, or suffer from severe joint pain, please avoid this exercise for now. Consult your doctor or physical therapist first. They can help tailor the movement or suggest a gentler variation that suits your condition. Every body heals at its own pace, and there's nothing more admirable than respecting your limits. Begin gently. Focus on your breathing, your rhythm, your awareness. You'll soon notice that each squat not only strengthens your muscles, but also rebuilds your patience and trust in yourself. If you're ready to take this mindful, safe step toward a stronger you, comment number 1 below to let me know you're beginning this journey, one built on smart movement, safety, and self-respect. The sumo squat isn't just an exercise, it's a quiet affirmation to yourself. I'm still here and I can still move. True strength doesn't come from extreme effort, but from steady, consistent steps taken every day. Even if today you only lower 5 inches, tomorrow it might be 10 progress. No matter how small, is still progress. Allow your body to move and your heart to take pride in your persistence. If this message resonates with you, follow this channel and join me on the journey of rebuilding strength, confidence, and vitality one mindful step at a time.